I went through what I went through because I feel like, part of it is writing this book. Part of it is really understanding what it takes to get through an experience like that, understanding how traumas impact you. Because after that experience happened, I started having PTSD flashbacks that were extremely intense that I couldn't control. I would be driving.
Of that experience?
It was just of traumas that had happened to me when I was a child.
Oh.
I had past life flashbacks of different things that had happened to me. I didn't understand what was going on. It was like time didn't exist kind of in like my internal world. It's like time had been shattered. My reality had been completely shattered. Everything that I've been taught growing up, as far as religion and all that stuff was getting shattered. Like I was being shown things that were contrary to that, but it was all internal. But my external world, it's like the two weren't lining up anymore. And so reality just wasn't real. It was really a strange time. And on top of
you probably thought you were going crazy.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I thought, I pray every day. I'm like, please don't commit me somewhere. Please don't make me go and get locked up somewhere. I was terrified of that because I can
imagine.
How can it function? And then I started hearing voices and seeing things.
You're like, oh, great.
I'm like, this is
it's on.
Fabulous. And we're in the middle of a major house remodel too. And I'm expected to like paint and like spackle and do all these things. And I'm like, okay, could not be a worse time.
Reality calls.
Oh my gosh.
Reality.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, reality, 3D reality calls. But I would just, I'd have these attacks. I'd go in my closet, beat on the floor and the wall, scream, get this stuff out. Cause I'm like, there was nothing to hold it back anymore. There was nothing to hold it down energetically. It was like I tucked all this stuff in neat little boxes and everybody, they opened the boxes up and here it was, it was, I had to face it and work through it. So it was tricky, but that lasted really strongly about 6 months. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I kept going back to healers and I was like, this is going on, that's going on. What do I do? And everybody had little tips. They're like, well, you need to let it go. And they taught me how to process things. And then I'd say, well, I'm experiencing this with this, I'm hearing this voice or I'm seeing, this is what I saw. And half the time they had absolutely no idea. And I didn't have a word for what happened to me. I still didn't know. It took me probably about 7 years to even find it on the internet. No healer was like, oh, you had a spontaneous kundalini awakening and that's why you feel this way. And this is what you're going to go through. And nobody gave me a cheat sheet. It was just, I felt like I had been kind of given this terminal illness, almost like mental terminal illness. And I'm like, I have to figure out what's wrong with me. And good luck finding information on the internet at that point about it. It just did not exist. Mm-hmm. So it was piecing things together and fighting really for my life. And it took everything I had. But the more I processed my emotions, the more I went through these exercises that these healers had taught me, the more stable I became.